Dave, happy birthday first of all. 49 again, I think. Just tell us how this week's gone from your perspective in terms of preparation.
Um, no, it's been a good week. Again, another opportunity to work. Like I said last week, little bit short on numbers as we expect, but we're getting used to that. But some good prep and again a concentration on us. I'm looking forward to a really tough game this weekend.
10 games into the league campaign now, which is where some people start to look a little bit at the league table. Currently in 7th, just outside the playoff places, only a point worse off than at this stage last season. Does that feel like a fair reflection based on what's happened so far?
Yeah, it possibly does. I think the way that football works nowadays, you're reminded of things all the time. I think watching the game last night, and when the stat comes up that the team that's lost the most points from winning position is us on 11, then maybe it does say that we are where we deserve to be. And as much as I've spoken about our inconsistencies, we've got to take real positives from the fact that if we can get to a point where we were and do have the consistency that we had last season, then based on how we've done in certain parts of the games, we should be better off than we are. But it makes no difference. Like I say, the most important and the only important thing is how many points you tally up. No one looks at how you've played. A league table's there for a reason. And we've got to make sure that we remain in a good place. And most importantly, when we get to the back end of the season, are in a place to compete right at the top of the table.
When you look at the underlying data, though, since the Plymouth game, it does seem to have been a shift in terms of performances, even if you've not had the results to back that up.
You were much better. And as much as I can be critical and open and say probably in the first part of the season, we've seen some brilliant stuff and we've seen some really average stuff. And maybe didn't deserve the points total that we acquired. In the last 3 games, we should be 9 out of 9, and unfortunately, the tide has flipped a little bit, and I'd much rather be in the position that I'm in now, in the fact that the last 3 games we've created miles more chances. If I'm being again critical, which is our job to be, we've not taken them chances and put games to bed when we should have. So we didn't create an awful lot in the first block, but we're really efficient. We've now started creating chances, not being as efficient, but I'd certainly rather be where we are. Performance is much more consistent over the course of 90 minutes, much better, much more of a Stockport County identity team that I would see based on what we've done over the last 4 years.
Missed chances, as you said, have been the theme over the last few weeks. Big chances to kill games not taken. How do you work through that? Because it's presumably not as simple as just sticking anyone on a finishing duty for the week. It's about decision making.
Yeah, we obviously analyse the game individually, collectively. Look at what things we can do better. We'll work at people or work with people in terms of individual development and goals over the course of the week. But that isn't a short term fix. That is undoubtedly players will get into positions. You look at Benno's not scored yet. He probably should have had 4 in the last 2 games. Jack has got a couple, but should have a load more goals. Probably had 5 shots on Saturday and didn't really work the keeper in any of them, which he needs to do better. So players will continue to get into those positions. I suppose the deciding factor about from them personally and for us about how high they play and how successful they are in their careers will be being able to take those chances. If they take them chances, they benefit. If they take them chances, we benefit. They can do it, but you have to be really calm in the moment. And what we can't do is, I suppose, overemphasise things, because I have no doubt that on Saturday, Jack will have a chance to score, Wootton will have a chance to score, Benno will have a chance to score, Lowy will have a chance to score. All the lads who are at the top end of the pitch are going to get opportunities. We need to put them in a position where they can remain calm in those moments and pick the right finish in order to get us a goal that essentially is going to pick us up more points.
Defensively as well, there's certainly been an improvement. It's starting to feel like a settled back line that you have. Joseph Holloway has been a big part of that. At 25, he's almost at the experienced head back there. I think still learning what you want from him in possession, but defensively, he looks like a very shrewd acquisition.
Yeah, brilliant character. Excuse me. And a character that wants to defend and wants to do well. Is, like I say, really motivating within the group in a really good way. Is playing a slightly different position and slightly different demands of what we want from him, because first and foremost he does want to defend and he's aggressive around how he goes about it. In terms of the in-possession stuff and the passes we want him to make, he'll only improve it in that aspect. But he's doing great for us. I think what I would expect with the nature of younger players across the back line is some inconsistencies and some mistakes, which we're still seeing, but they are sort of few and far between. I think I've spoken a lot about Ethan over the past not just months, years really. I don't want to put the sort of a hoodoo on him, but he tends to get through games and with minimal fuss, almost as if now he's just part of the furniture. You don't really see him. He's really steady. You don't see mistakes that from a young player you would expect maybe to see more of. And I think he's gone through a learning process. We go back to that first season when we put him in, and there were some mistakes that cost us goals. He reacted to that in a really good way, and has gone on to what he's doing currently. That'll be the same with all of them. Brad's obviously new back to the club, but still really young. Joseph is new to the club, although, like you say, in terms of his age, the most experienced one in what is a really young backline.
Milestone appearance coming up for Kyle Wootton as well. His next game will be his 150th for the club, all of them, of course, under you. No player's undroppable, but he feels pretty close to that in terms of how important he is to the way that you want to play.
Yeah, massively important to our team. And probably, again, it's strange when you come into seasons. I'm going to talk about football in general here. The dynamics change, whether teams want small, quick forwards, whether they want wingers playing the opposite sides, whether they want target men type forward. Everyone's looking for a mobile target, if you like, and it's becoming more and more used within the game, right at the very top level. You look at all the centre forwards, even across the top leagues in the world. That profile everyone's looking for, and we're really fortunate to have Woots. He's like I say, another one, brilliant personality, brilliant character, ultimate professional. Is maybe now getting the pats on the back that I think his performances have merited, not over the 3 years or so he's been here, over the time before that. When we brought him in, he'd done, I think, probably maybe 4 seasons in Notts County and always scored 15 to 20 goals every season, granted National League. But what he's done, he's stepped up and he's now doing it in League One. And for him to have the goals and the goal involvements that he has shows, like I say, his importance to us. And the biggest part of that is that it's thoroughly deserved and merited through what he does day in, day out.
Moving on to injuries, we've covered the long-term ones at length previously, but Callum Camps, Malik Mothersill, are either of them likely to be involved this weekend? Close.
I'll know more today. The way we do the week is that we do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then obviously train today and have a Thursday off. So I'll know more today. Both close. It could be this week. If it's not, I would hope it would be this week and be able to get him some proper minutes on Tuesday. But if not, I'd certainly think it would be by the Blackpool game next weekend.
Just a word on Malik, obviously coming for a big fee. It's been a little bit stop-start for him so far. I know you spoke about him needing to work on his out-of-possession stuff at times too. Is that just a normal thing for a new player coming in? Are you confident that we'll start to see the best of him soon enough?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all guilty of it. And you learn over time. I think I look back to last season and the new players that we brought in, how long it took them to bed in. I've said it before, the season before, Ibby, when he moved here from Salford and was living in the same house, yet the sort of, I wouldn't say initiation, but him getting settled in a new club with new players and a new expectation took a while until he became a really consistent performer for us. We had it last year with Fevs and with Jay Mingy and other players. We'll have it exactly the same this year. Again, Joseph's going through a little bit of that period. Brad's going through a little bit of that period. Ozzy's come in, obviously used his experience and been really steady for us. Mal is a different one. Came in, Looked really positive early on with Teo behind him. Teo then being injured probably doesn't help the situation. Mal's picked up a few little niggles. The most important thing for us is we need to get him back outside training over a consistent period, and undoubtedly we've got a very, very good player. He'll need to learn, I suppose, what makes this team, and this team is this club. Jack coming in last year, initially, in terms of his reaction when the ball was given away, was not where we wanted it to be, but look where he's sort of progressed to now. And that'll be the same with all players. We'll flex a little bit. We won't completely bend. We have principles of what make us a really good team, and our really good team is based around what we are as a club, as a fan base, and expect people to work the socks off. That will undoubtedly be a requirement of them if they want to play higher. You just need to be better at it. So in order for him to be able to do that in this division with this club, I think we'll give him a really good chance, and us a really good chance of getting better, and him maximising his potential over the course of his career.
Huddersfield then obviously really fell off in the second half of last season, disappointing campaign for them. But when you look at the recruitment over the summer, the new manager coming in, they're a side you'd expect to be right up there alongside you this season.
Yeah, I think if you looked at last season, you would have definitely had them in the top part, and looking to get promoted back to the Championship. Didn't happen. A change of manager over the summer, some new investment, and listen, for the level that a massive club, a big fan base, a budget that's backed to want to get promoted out of the division, and they started well. They're in a good place. It's a really good game for us, a game for us to look forward to. We spoke about us performing last season. We went there and performed really well. The fact we conceded a goal after 45 seconds, an own goal, but then went on to really control that game, I think set us up for the back part of the season, really. And as much as a defeat you don't want to defeat, I think that defeat really gave belief amongst our group around where we were at. So we'll go there again to be really positive and try and influence the game how we want it to be, but understand that we're playing against a really good team.
Just a word on Lee Grant, obviously held in high regard during his time as a coach under Kieran McKenna, made a decent start this season. From the outside looking in, what has he changed tactically over the summer?
Listen, they recruited really, really well. If you look at the whole back four, at the time, Ruffin's been out and played in the EFL Cup game EFL Trophy game rather on Tuesday. But the whole back line has changed. They've changed at the top end of the pitch, so they've recruited well. The model and how they play is not too dissimilar to what was taken when Ipswich got promoted from League One to the Championship and then Championship to the Premier League. So we know tactically what their patterns are and what they try and do. It's going to be our job to try and stop that, but also cause them problems around what we want out of the game. So, like I say, tactically, I think it'll be a really interesting game. Both teams will want to be on the front foot. Both teams will want to press, which hopefully makes it an exciting game. The important thing for us is that we perform and try and come out on the right side of the result.
Difficult weather conditions expected on Saturday as well. Storm Amy and high winds expected. I guess that's one of those things where the players need to react and adapt to it a little bit whilst they're out on the pitch. Yeah,
you as a weatherman know more than that about me. I think that's one thing that you have to do regardless. We'll set up for games and eventualities around shape, personnel, things change. We can, especially the way things are in this country, we can expect that it's going to be horrific, and it might not be. It's something you have to deal with on the day. One thing's certain: if you go in there the way that stadium is and open in the corners, it will swirl around. It'll be another thing that adds to the difficulty of what already is a difficult game. But they'll have to deal with exactly the same scenario. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We'll hope the sun's shining and it's not blowing a gale and lashing down. But we'll expect if that's the case, then we have to put in a performance and adapt to try and win.
And just finally, with over 2,000 travelling fans, a sell-out away end, one thing Saturday will be a great atmosphere to play in as well.
Yeah, and it was last year around Christmas. I think it was 26,000 there. A brilliant atmosphere, a brilliant game to play in. So that'll be exactly the same, and no doubt our supporters will absolutely give us everything, like they have done, not just over this season, over the course of the time that I've been here, and we can, I suppose, we can match their performance off the pitch, on the pitch, and coming out with like I say, a result that we all deserve.
Appreciate your time, Dave. Thank you.
You're welcome. Cheers. Thank you.